Welcome back in the studio. Yeah, we're hearing I wear my sunglasses at night. Although it is the daytime.
It is the daytime.
It is a daytime.
And it is bright in here.
It is. Is it too bright in here for you, Marshall?
I just don't like people to see past my shades.
Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming in here.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
We have a crazy.
Rich,
we have a crazy schedule.
I love your open. Serious.
Thank you.
That is a pretty cool open.
I appreciate that.
It is.
And you know, you're one of my all-time favorites, and we, as I was saying, we have a pretty big schedule. Crazy. We're on planes every single week.
Yes.
You and I are going to be in Houston in just 2 days.
Yep.
From now for a pretty big game with the Colts and the Texans. Then we
Huge
fly
game.
back. Then I'm with you on game day morning.
Yep.
We're meeting on Saturday, then on Sunday, and then
we spend a lot of time together.
So
Rich.
for you to come here and spend an hour in studio with us, I really appreciate that.
It's all good.
Our poll question for the day that we have up on richeisenshow.com involves Russell Wilson, whose Seahawks wrapped up Week 5 with a win in D.C., including Russell Wilson's 122 yards rushing and 202 yards passing. The question is Russell Wilson, how many Super Bowls will he win? Just the one that he already has, another one, or multiple more to come? Marshall Faulk, chime in on that. What are your thoughts?
I believe, Rich, the minute, and this year is huge for them, the minute that the quarterback venture off into that $90 million, $100 million range, his teams start to get further away from him winning a Super Bowl.
Interesting.
I look at Aaron Rodgers. That team was so much better. The offensive line. I think about what Tony Romo went through, Jay Cutler, Ben Roethlisberger. The minute that you pay that quarterback that kind of money, even Tom Brady, you know, Tom wasn't making that kind of money. The minute that he started making that kind of money, you can't address other aspects of your football team. It's so hard.
But Tom would say he's taking a hometown discount.
He did. But it's still a lot of money. I mean, listen, it's still a lot of money. It might not be what Peyton's making.
Right.
But it is a lot of money. And I just believe it distanced that quarterback to where now you have to shoulder it. Joe Flacco, it becomes harder for your team to maneuver when they need to sign people and get stuff done. It's difficult, man.
So you're saying that because Russell Wilson, he is in the portion of his career where he cannot renegotiate.
Right.
Where he is making
this year is huge.
Making couch change right now. Like Paul Allen can look in his couch, probably his real actual couch, and find the money with which to pay Russell Wilson. This is the moment that he needs to be winning Super Bowls now, because when he gets paid, it'll be more difficult. That's what you're saying, essentially.
They'll get a couple of offensive linemen will be gone. He might, Percy Harvin's next deal they might not be able to re-sign him. Marshawn Lynch, that might be, he might have 1 or 2 more years after that.
I think that's
before.
it.
I'm just saying, these are the things that's going to happen. And
if there's any team, though, Seattle, from what they've, because they already paid Earl Thomas and they already took care of Richard Marshall. If there's any team that I think that was sitting down that has a plan that can best execute a plan to avoid what you're talking about, I would peg Seattle as one of those teams to do that.
Didn't we think that about New England? And now we're asking, where's Brady's help,
Maybe
right?
so. So what's your answer to the poll question? 1, 2, or 3 plus?
I'm going to give him 2. I'm going to give him 2 more. I think.
So he'll be 3 plus?
Yes.
Or 2 total?
I think 3 total. I'm going 3.
Wow.
I think 3. I think he'll add 2 more to his resume. And if you watched him play last night, if I'm Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, I'm never leaving this kid, because he can get you out of bad plays that we call uphill that don't look like they have no chance. He can make things work.
Well, let's roll the one play that I spoke about at the top of the show, if we can. This was one play with 4 and change left in the first half. And Ryan Kerrigan, who's been chasing him all night, he runs right into him and then pirouettes, and then against his body, throws it downfield and drops a dime.
Right.
And then runs it in next play. The throw to avoid Ryan Kerrigan, is that What would you describe that? Getting out of a bad play or getting out of trouble? What would you?
That's a normal play by him. He does that all the time. Now, if we saw Peyton Manning do that, oh my God.
I was saying,
oh boy.
Even if it's Aaron Rodgers,
even
RG3,
yes.
you can go down the list. So why is that then? Why is that?
He makes those plays look routine, and I think the fan they just expect that of him. You know, when the play when he went up to the line of scrimmage, came back, bought time, rolled to the left, and then found beast mode to end the game pretty much. That play looked like a routine play for him.
It did, actually.
I'm telling you.
But it was not.
But it's not. Do you know how often we get upset at Tony Romo or we get upset at Ben Roethlisberger for holding on to that ball too long? Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, this kid, he has the ability and the pocket presence of when to get out, when to throw it away. He makes the right decisions in those times that we don't even question. Plays like that gets me on the edge of my seat because I understand what it is. The normal fan is just like, oh, that was Russell Wilson.
Like, oh yeah, because Marshawn Lynch was the outlet.
Yeah.
Right? And clearly that had to be it because beast mode is their red zone option of choice almost every time.
Yep.
But it wasn't that simple.
Nope. Rich, the play, I heard you talking about the Percy Harvin touchdowns. The last touchdown that they threw, the post route, he threw that touchdown and took a hit.
Yes, he did.
Most quarterbacks don't get up from that hit. Not to mention they didn't even throw a flag for that hit. Because sometimes hits on quarterbacks, they look violent, so you just get the flag automatic.
Yes.
This one,
right.
In this one, they didn't even throw the flag. He delivered the strike. Ball, Percy Harvin, perfect. They called it back because of, I don't know, unsportsmanlike or unnecessary roughness by one of his linemen.
Yeah, it was unnecessary roughness by Carpenter on the ground.
We didn't really see it, but if you watch the hit that he took, and he knew he was going to take the hit, and he took the big throw to take the hit because that would have sealed the game.
Right.
This kid he's unbelievable. Story, Rich.
Yes.
Rookie year, I'm up at Nike for the Nike opening where we talk to high school kids that come there to like work out and train, all the upper echelon kids. And I meet Russell Wilson for the first time. I shake his hand. I'm like, wow,
he's got big
for
mitts.
a guy that's looking me eye to eye, got really big hands. And I said, so what's your expectation of, are you gonna go? He said, well, I'm gonna go in and compete, and I feel like I can probably start. I'm like, start?
Yeah.
Start? Like you had to leave. You had to leave your school. You weren't the best guy on your team at one point in time. You think you can start?
Mike Glennon was the one who took over when he...
Yeah, we call him McGlennon.
McGlennon, because that's what Sapp called him on a game day morning once. Just McGlennon. We thought, you know what? Yeah, he messed up his name, but that is an appropriate sort of nickname.
I'm listening to this kid. I'm like, boy, the typical thing for a guy that's retired and you've been away from the game a while, in the sense of playing, you think, boy, these kids coming in, they just think the game is easy. And day one starter.
Well, because he worked so hard. And a perfect example
of that.
A lot
of guys work hard.
I know that. That's true. That's true. Later on, after his rookie season, when his first game at FedEx Field, when they went ahead and won that playoff game. So he came in after losing the next game. If you remember, he came and hung on game day morning with us in the championship Sunday game day morning.
Yes, he did.
And you know what time I get there on Sundays?
Oh,
right around 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I beat you there.
Sometimes.
Most of the times I do.
Most of the time.
Well, okay. So I get in on that Sunday game day morning at 3:45. I mean, because that thing is 6 hours long.
It is.
It's nuts.
It is.
As a matter of fact, our championship Sunday show this year started 3 minutes ago. We're late. Yeah. We're Geno Smith-like right now. And so I show up at 3:45 in the morning, and I show up in my T-shirt and jeans because I changed there. Walk into the green room. Who's sitting there already?
Yep.
Going over his notes, fully suited and booted, Russell Wilson. And I'm like, you're going to make me look bad, man. And then he had his Sunday. He did his show. And, I chatted with him. He was on the podcast earlier in the week. I chatted with him and hung with the guy, and we talked about what it's like to do this job. I got, unsolicited, a jersey signed by him sent to me with a thank you note. And the guy's,
Just
it's like he's not from this planet.
There's people that you meet, when you've played the game, there's people that you meet, and definitely coaches and quarterbacks, that as a position player, you feel like I can play with him or I can play for him. The coach that I've met that I feel like I could have played for and boy, I would have ran through a brick wall is Mooch. Yeah, oh man, I would have loved to have played for Mooch. I love everything about that man. Sincere. I just love him. And Russell Wilson has that. Like, he's a quarterback that, I was like, I could play with him because I know that I'm going to get his best, that he's going to be prepared, and that he's going to put it on, he's going to lay it on the line. It's all about the win.
And he's going to know where you are on the field because you know where you're supposed to be on the field.
With that's goes without saying. He understands the football part of it mentally. He's always prepared for that. I'm just talking about laying it on the line, whatever it takes to win. And if that's rushing the ball 30 times and only throwing it 15, he's fine with that.
Right.
It's not about the numbers.
Yeah, he never says that, right? Never once.
Could care less.
Russell Wilson is 3-1. Marshall Faulk is here in studio with us, and as we've talked about previously, even on yesterday's show, this is one of the more ingenious football players you'll ever come across, and you were that way probably coming out of the womb, but certainly when you started your football career at San Diego State and your old position coach is on the phone, and he's going to join us next. His name is Sean Payton. He happens to be a Super Bowl winning head coach of the New Orleans Saints, who's on a bye week. And Sean Payton will join myself and Marshall Faulk when the Rich Eisen Show returns.